Hello everyone, welcome to the stream. Back with more The Letter. I saw this intro and like, wait, is this the right game? We're not playing the wrong game, right? No, we're on the right one. So last time we cursed everyone. And today I'm guessing we're going to see how badly that turns out. So, I guess that's it. Let's get to it. Check the volume, that's fine. I have faint memory where we left off though, but I suppose we're going to find out. The sky is cloudless and the noontime sun is beating down the hard concrete when we leave the cafe. Also, a relationship update? Or is it just popping those out for no reason? A day after the open house, the brides were seen securing the mansion purchase at the Briar Realty Luxburn office. Parties involved in the transaction were surprised at how fast it went, but agreed it was to be expected when dealing with influential people like the Wrights. Happy over the sale, Isabella Santos treated her friends to lunch. Alright. It's far from unbearable, but enough to put most people in a fickle mood, or make them vulnerable to catching something. No wonder we have staff members going AWOL lately. Not to mention my boss's mercurial moods. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I want our usual cloudy weather back. For all the gripes about the unpredictable weather, though, the streets of Luxburn remain consistently busy.
FBI, open up!
It wasn't me, I swear, souls! Do not arrest me! I know I cursed everyone, but no one hasn't died yet, I swear! The hurried tapping of shoes against the pavement and it... Thank you for the head pats. I do wonder. There must be a better way to do the headband command, but thus far, it just keeps automatically pressing random things. You know what? I'm gonna put the headpad command on G, and one day when we're playing some kind of a shooter game, you guys are going to headpad me, I'm going to throw a grenade, and then wonder why did I die? Anyway, the hurried tapping of shoes against the pavement and inane chatter coming from the lunchtime crowd fills the humid afternoon air. A small reminder of the things we still have to do, regardless of how much I want to return to the comfort of my bed. Back to Briar Realty for me, Zach to a meeting with a magazine publisher featuring luxury houses, and Becca to her lesson plans and books at home. But more than once, I catch her sneaking a longing glance over something displayed on a shop window. Did she want to buy something? Maybe I can get it for her this Christmas. I turn my head at the last shop she checked out. A fleeting glimpse. The world stills. Oh! That's not what I expected. She looks at me, eyes hollow, gaze piercing and boring into my very soul, like a set of chains to keep my whole body still. There are no shadows or whispers this time, only plea. A hum, low and indistinct, compelling me, beckoning me, intent on dragging me to the void beyond the glass. No, I already shared your chain letter. I don't dare move. My heart hammers against my ribs. Each beat, every thump, screaming at me to look away and make a run for it. But I can't. I couldn't. All of my limbs feel heavy, while my own breathing strains in the face of her calls.
Leave me alone.
Her mouth is stretched in a grin, wide and unpleasant. The panic building up in my chest forces me to take a tentative step back. I try not to stare at the decaying flesh, the blood streaming from the gaping wounds on her arm or her nailless fingers. I don't want this. Not like this. Not after what I got. Not after I got what I want for Papa.
Oh, no. Stop. Leave me alone.
Her face contorts and she lets out a wail, sharp and utterly unforgiving. Rage. There's only hatred and bitterness, as if the very notion of turning away from her is an offense in itself.
Please, I don't want this.
Before I know it, I'm stumbling backwards, my own throat, hoarse from the screams I didn't even notice already coming out of my mouth. Back of my feet catches on a loose stone, sending me sprawling under the ground. The resulting pain completely jumps me out of the haze, blurring my mind. For a little while, my surroundings appear unfamiliar until Becca's face swims into my vision. A look of concern is on her face, and her hands are gripping my arms tight. Even Zack appears beside himself with a worry while he stands behind her, acting as a shield against a small crowd of onlookers already forming around us.
What happened?
Bella, you okay?
My mouth opens and closes, but nothing comes out. The words refuse to form. On impulse, I sneak a swift glance at the display window. She's gone. Yet the foreboding feeling hasn't left me. My hands are shaking as I push myself off the ground, my weakened limbs relying solely on reflex and muscle memory. Something icy has made its home at the pit of my stomach. I want to throw up. Anything to get the wretched sensation
You're
out.
screaming. Zack, call someone. No, don't. I'm good. I'm good. I need to get to the office. Rose, the floor plans. Someone's going to pick it up. I'll see you later.
Careful. Don't stand up yet. Stay put, Isabella. Zack, you watch over her for me. I'll call for someone.
I attempted a smile to put her at ease, but it likely comes off as a grimace. After present lunch with Zachary Steele and Rebecca Gales, Isabella Santos received an urgent phone call from Rose Cooper, asking her to meet with the Wright's interior designer. Left with no choice, she hurried back to the BRC. But on her way, on one of the shops she passed by, a familiar smile greeted her. Gently I pushed her hands off my shoulders. My knees are still trembling, but I can stand. Leave me. Stay away. Away. The humidity is stifling. Everyone's stares are unnerving. Becca and Zack's concerns are suffocating. I don't want to be here. No more. I break into a run. I wish I hadn't left my bed this morning. Here, with only occasional drips of water on the sink and the whirling of a fan blades keeps me company, it's easy to fall into a cycle of negative thinking. But even with the clutter to keep me company, the room still feels a whole lot bigger than usual. I hack my knees closer as a group passes by outside. Loud. So loud. If only there was a way to tune everything out, to keep my head from replaying every image, every sound of her. Her screams, her awkward gait as she reaches for me, her bone-chilling smile, her pleas for enough. That's enough. A shiver passes over me, though it's not from the hair still hanging damp against my back, nor the draft that enters the room from the windows I've left wide open. My gaze shifts over the letter sitting on the coffee table. Its edges flutter innocuously, as the wind touches it. Funny how an ordinary-looking piece of paper can bring this much trouble. The impulse to throw it away or rip it to pieces is still there. I can easily do it, but after that, what? Will she leave me? What about those people who have already seen it? Will they be okay? This uncertainty gnaws at me. Knowing that she's real and might also go after the people I care about, I just wish someone would listen. Believe me. The abrupt break-in sounds nearly makes me jump out of my skin. It made me jump out of my skin. Blindly, I fish out my phone from under the mess of papers and cushions where I've carelessly thrown it before taking a shower hours ago. Ash's name flashes brightly on the screen. Is he calling because of this afternoon?
Thank you so much for spamming my inbox, scaredy cat.
Hey, Ash.
What's wrong?
I just had a long day. The couple who bought the house wanted us to finish processing the papers within the week. It's a little hectic, but we'll manage.
Really? You sold it?
Don't sound so surprised. I told you, you don't stand a chance. The rights won't take no for an answer. You've been on the losing end from the very start. Ha!
Whoever said I was interested in the house in the first place?
But you said...
Despite his light tone, his snicker only comes off as annoying to my ears. I have to fight the urge to end the call right there and then. Stupid Ash.
You're such an ass.
Get it?
And just so you know, I'm not treating you to a separate celebration. Or ever.
No, that's just unfair. And here I was looking something up for you. Didn't you say you wanted to talk to Andrew?
I pause. I did say that, but I didn't think he'd actually go through the trouble, considering how much he scoffed at the whole topic in the first place.
Is he okay with that?
Totally. Besides, I need to ask him about something. I might as well do it soon. What do you say you come with me tomorrow morning?
Well, there's no harm in it, I suppose. I've got a free day anyway.
Great, I'll just pick you up. Don't oversleep.
Don't compare me to you. I'm not the one who sleeps like a rock.
Another round of chuckles come from him. I will live for the day he'll stop making fun of me. Just you wait, you asshole. About to end the call, he clears his throat.
And, Isabella?
His sudden, diffident tone sends my eyebrows shooting up into my hairline. Is the world ending today?
Yeah? Did you forget something?
Do you think we...
Huh?
Never mind. Good night.
Huh? He hangs up instantly. Rude, completely rude. I didn't even get to thank him. The busy tone, though muffled, echoes through the receiver. No one is saying this will work. Even I am doubtful it will. Right now, I'll take anything. Anything to get out of this nightmare. Sleep comes easier tonight. And for the first time in a long time, I dream of clear skies, of unrestrained laughter from children playing in the streets, and of small, cramped dwellings. To an outsider, the sight does not paint a pretty picture. However, this is home to me. It's Sunday. Morning dawns bright and clear the following day. Although the air still feels muggy and I've missed the chilly autumn weather, it's one of those rare weekends when I'm up even before my alarm rings. If it wasn't for Ash's call last night, I'd probably sleep in. When 9 a.m. rolls around, I'm already heading downstairs where Ash is waiting for me in his car. So we got journal update. Ashton Frey reminded Isabella. After meeting with Professor Andrew Clark tomorrow, a respected professor with a doctorate degree in sociology. As a former researcher specializing in ethnography and psychology, Ashton assured that his friend can help with her worries regarding the mansion's rumors. His hair's a disheveled mess, eyes drowsy and overall looking like he's hurried to get out of his bed, or fell out of it, or both. He looks adorably rumpled this way, but I'm not going to tell him that. It would only bloat his unbearable ego.
Good morning, Ash.
He makes a motion with his finger around his ear. Tone it down.
Can you even drive?
He answers me with a slight raise of his hand, a yawn, and nothing more. He's never been particularly fond of mornings, and for that, I'm thankful to every god in the universe who has mental capacity for him to make fun of me. Huh. This is the reason why mornings are my favorite. It doesn't take long for us to reach our destination, a small cafe situated in a Luxburn busy street, the same one I'd often visit with Becca for its cheap food. I've never gone here on Sunday, and it's striking how different it appears without the usual weekday and Saturday rush. The atmosphere especially reminds me of something we also have back home, near the university I used to attend. I wonder what happened to it. It was being renovated before I left, so I never got to visit it one last time. The place has always had a calming effect on me, but today, despite standing in a familiar place to it, anxiety easily washes over me as soon as I step out of the car. I'm quite used to dealing with people I've never met before, thanks to my work, but still, I don't know him. In spite of the fact both Ash and Becca have vouched for him, what will he think of me and my story? What if he thinks I'm crazy? Hell, even my own friends thought so. I draw in a breath to quell the panic beginning to rise in me. Oh well, only one way to find out. A few hesitant steps forward and then Ash suddenly is pulling me back by my elbow.
Hold on, scaredy cat, not too fast.
Without warning, he flicks my forehead. Hard.
That hurts. What was that for?
He's already walking away when I look up, and I hurry to catch up to him, puzzled. I don't really understand this guy. At least explain why you're flicking other people's forehead all of a sudden. So rude.
Get yourself together, will you? He's not going to bite. He's very accommodating, too.
I wasn't scared of him or anything.
You don't look like it. Didn't sound like you were okay last night either.
Huh?
What was that last one? Hey, don't just ignore me.
All questions and retorts die in my mouth once he arrives to the door to the shop. A cast iron bell attached to it chimes softly, announcing our arrival. The smell of freshly brewed coffee welcomes us as soon as we step in. Ah yes, the faceless people are back. Like the usual, several tables and chairs have been set up for the patrons. Most of the customers have forgone them in favor of more comfortable throw pillows and beanbags, and the staff has laid out on the floor. Becca would love to know to have something like this on Sundays. She's been complaining how uncomfortable the library chairs are for a long time now. As leads me to a secluded spot near the window where an old man, probably in his 50s or 60s, is seated, enjoying a brew and a book.
Professor Clark.
It's just Andrew now. I'm no longer your professor, Detective Inspector Frey.
This guy, Andrew, looks up from his book and gives him a smile. A sheepish look crosses Ash's face at the older man's admonishment. More unusual, in my opinion, is seeing him appear like a parent has just scolded him. But it suggests a familiarity between them. One that goes beyond what someone expects from a simple student and a mentor. With another warm smile, he gestures for us to take the empty seats opposite him.
Have you been waiting long?
Quite some time. But I come here early on weekends. Best time to get their first serving of Bearclaws. They're the only place that serves it here. I took the liberty of ordering for you two. I hope you don't mind. I thought it'd be best to talk over a decent helping of coffee.
Also, guys, look into the background. There's some kind of a bunny with a crush on the head. At least I think it's a bunny. Soon enough, a waiter brings us 2 more cups and sets down a basket of pastries.
Aren't you going to introduce the lady?
Ah, right, sorry. Isabella, this is Prof. Andrew. He's one of my professors back at the university. Andrew, this is Isabella Santos.
Santos. Portuguese? Spanish? Brazilian? Mexican?
Throw all the countries on the list. You'll eventually get it right.
Filipina, actually. It's a pleasure to meet you, Professor.
Ah, your name carries a lot of history, Miss Santos. Just Andrew is fine. Don't do what Ashton's doing. He doesn't listen to this old man.
He doesn't listen to anyone, more like. The awkward tension typically present in the first meeting dissipates after that. I was expecting someone strict and to expect someone severe. And Professor Andrew Clark is definitely the opposite of what I have in mind. The more personable kind, similar to a grandfather who dotes on you at family gatherings. It's obvious why Ash has taken liking to him.
Ashton tells me there's something you wish to discuss that I could help with. Let's hear it then.
I give Ash a hesitant glance while he just nods and gestures towards Andrew with his head. He's leaving this to me. It's my story to tell, after all. I keep it short and concise. I found a letter in this old mansion, and now I'm cursed. Exactly as I've told Ash and Zack when they asked about it. I don't mention the name of the place. No use saying it now that someone else legally owns it. No use dragging other people into my
I'm
problems.
sure it's that letter I found. But I don't know anymore. I just want to know how to escape this nightmare.
Of course. We're talking about the one in Anslem Village, aren't we?
Well, he's aware of it.
How did you...
Don't look so surprised. There's only one place popular enough here if we're going to talk about hauntings. I once had a colleague who wrote about it and the urban legends surrounding the place. Years worth of study, but fascinating. It's a shame he passed away at such a young age. He would have done a much better job at explaining topics like this one compared to me. Ashton here might disagree, but it's an interesting topic in sociology, if you care to have an open mind.
Studying the science and theory behind it is completely different from outright believing in it.
You don't believe in those stories, sir?
Now, this isn't a question of belief. All I'm saying is things like these speak a lot about a place's culture and history. And it's not just limited to ghosts. Monsters, gods, you name it. Even you, Miss Santos.
What about me?
I am a god!
How you respond to these stories. It tells a lot about you and your upbringing. In the same way it tells me why our detective inspector here finds such topics absurd. Interesting, isn't it?
My head is starting to spin from all of this. I'm not the smartest person around, but I understand what he's trying to get at. I think. It's still too much to take in at once. I look to ask for help, but his eyebrows are drawn to a frown. If he keeps staring at like that at his cup, I'm pretty sure it'll crack
There's
soon.
still something you're not telling.
Didn't I tell you everything the other day?
Yeah, but you mentioned the rights. Then you proceeded to drop the topic right after. What's with that?
They don't have anything to do with this.
Rights. Luke and Hannah Wright?
Yeah, they're the ones who got the place.
I'm not surprised. They're the kind who gets what they want once they set their eyes on it.
From what I've heard, word gets around.
A heavy sigh escapes my lips. Popular or not, they're just my clients. I'll be a little pushy, but just clients. End of story. I wish you'd stop pestering about them. I know you're trying to help. Hey, look. I went up. What was it again, Becca? Dallas when dealing with particularly difficult child? The pesky, annoying kind? I wish I could remember. I could certainly use the same trick right about now.
Ashton, look here. I know you're trying to help, but the deal's almost already closed. The papers are being prepared. Once it's done, it's over. I'm just their agent.
And when is that happening?
When what? Is there even a purpose to this line of questioning?
Your working relationship with them. When's it going to end?
About a week from now. It depends on how long the approval process would take, but they wanted us to rush in.
Oh boy. It's been a close to Halloween.
Really? You're absolutely sure about that?
Yes, really. Unless they want to buy a house again and want me and Rose to be their agent. If yes, then I don't see a problem with it. Now stop annoying me about it.
Don't accept it.
What? Why? It's my job.
Oh Lord, even my younger siblings aren't this difficult to deal with. Then again, Ash is far from younger sibling to me. If I'd only spell it out, surely I'd understand. We wouldn't even have to talk about this right now. That's how it is, right? On an even ground and talk about it like the adults we are? It wasn't like this before. Somewhere along the way, something has changed in us. As people, as friends. I wish there was a way I could tell when or why. Instead, I'm left searching blindly for reasons. Next thing we know, we'll be drifting further and further apart. How frustrating.
Now, kids, settle down. We're not going to solve anything by shouting.
Sorry, Sir Andrew.
And we're not going to solve anything either if you keep omitting things.
Speak for yourself. I'm not the only one doing it.
You'll have to forgive my former student, Miss Santos. He's always been the curious kind. Many people think he's lazy, but it's actually the opposite. I see that hasn't changed.
Oh, really? How is he back when he was your student? I'm sorry, I need to ask. He doesn't talk much about that.
And there's a reason why. Please don't.
Please do.
Tried to sleep on the first day of class. He didn't repeat it after what I made him do when I caught him. Students like him are the easiest to deal with, once you know what piques their interest. I'd have to say, he's one of the very few who's actually interested in the subject, though. But there was this one time when...
By the end of the conversation, Ash looks like he's praying for the ground to swallow him. He's never been one to talk about himself. What I know about him is mostly bits and pieces I've gleaned over the years. He's an atrocious singer, he's bad at art, and he's a personal vendetta against mornings. Now it feels he isn't that hard to figure out after all. It's past noon when Andrew has to leave us for another meeting. But before we separate...
Miss Santos, a word of advice. Just keep in mind that when it comes to cases like this, things aren't always what they seem.
Naturally, the manager in the letter was brought up several times during our talk, and though Ash is right, in that Andrews offers different perspective, he has left me with more questions than answers instead. What is she? What does she want from me? Is she ever going to leave? They all continued to bug me after we left the coffee shop. I didn't even notice the Ash takes a different turn on our way back.
Where are we going? You can drop me off at the park.
Guess. You have 3 chances.
I'm serious, Ash. Where are we going?
He doesn't answer, but shortly, he stops his car in front of a small, nondescript food stall, a little ways away from the movie house. If I wasn't paying closer attention, I would have missed it without a doubt. He motioned for me to wait as he gets off the car and walks in its direction. Geez, if you want to buy something, just say it. You don't have to make yourself look mysterious. It makes you look more like a dork than cool. The wait isn't long, however. Soon he's back holding 2 fish-shaped cones in both hands. Ice cream? Parfait? A cross up the 2? By the time he's back inside, I've given up any effort to figure out what he bought. Not that it looks bad. It's actually
Here,
quite cute.
Take it.
I have to move my head back when he thrusts it at me to avoid the ice cream and the fruit toppings from end up on my nose. I want to see it.
What's this for?
I want it. Oh my god, that looks delicious. I want it. Look at it. Looks so delicious. I want to devour it.
My arm's getting tired. 5, 4, 3, 2.
With a very glance, I take it off his hands. I still don't understand why there's a need for ice cream today. Nevertheless, I take a small bite. It's actually pretty good. Must have shown in my face because he chuckles as soon as I take another
I
one.
saw the place open the other day when we watched Zach's movie. Thought I should give it a try. It doesn't seem like a bad place to get food from time to time.
And you're giving me free ice cream because...
Do I need to have a reason?
Are you really going to ask me that?
Here's the thing about Aston Frey. He does not just treat anyone free food because he feels like it. He's that much of a Scrooge. Hell, he even asked me to teach me how to haggle once. Haggle, of all the people who'd ask me that. I'd have to expect such requests from Becca, but Ash? Not at all. If I'm going to be honest, he looks a bit constipated with that expression on his face right now. I think he's starting to regret ever buying it.
The other day? The movie with Zach and Rebecca? Rebecca's there, yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Ash, what's up?
Anyway, during the movie, we, that's to say, we...
What?
Shit. Should have written down something first.
Get to the point, Ashton.
Right. I'm sorry.
What?
Not I'm sorry for, not getting to the point. I'm sorry for the other day. I got carried away. I said things that upset you. I shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Okay? That's all? That's all you're going to say? You're not still angry, are you?
You didn't have to buy me anything. A simple sorry would have been enough.
I bite into the cone again, a small attempt to keep myself occupied and relieve the heat crawling up my face. It doesn't work, but at least I don't have to look at him. Why I'm feeling embarrassed over an apology, I have no idea. It's not like it wasn't called for. They were being mean, especially him, and... In that fraction of a second, it hits me. He skipped his day off just for today. I should be the one apologizing and thanking him. Silence is our awkward company while we finish our respective snacks. There are words for this. For people like us, for understanding and sentiment like this. Yet in this instant, they won't come. As promised, he drops me off at the park right after. Faces unsaved, still hanging heavily in the air. Look at the animated water. In this weather, the city park gives off a lazier and more languid vibe than usual. Where children usually seen running around and playing, there are now people lying, leaning back on their picnic blankets, simply enjoying the afternoon sun. The smell of food drifts from nearby carts, and if the wind blows in the right direction, one would catch the whiff of freshly trimmed grass. Maybe I should try walking home today, to get my mind off things. To try and find the words somehow. I haven't done that in a while.
Thanks, Ash, for today.
No problem. Say hi to Rebecca for me.
Yeah, I will.
Even so, I linger. We both do. Mild, humid breeze brings the smell of dried leaves, warmed earth, and far-off distant memory of false starts and awkward first meetings. Same place, same people playing the same parts. Funny how all these days my brain chooses to remember it now.
Belle.
As exits his car, his strides are unsteady when he approaches me. Or maybe this is all his uncertainty showing? I'm not quite sure. He's never looked uncertain to me before. Always calm, always sure, always collected. He stops a short distance from me, close enough that he's within the arm reach, but just far enough for his voice to be heard over decent small talk, if this is what it's going to be. He fumbles for something in his
Here,
pocket.
Catch.
She did what? I'm sorry. How? What did you do? How? This... I'm worried. That will not end well. Her dislocated shoulder will get even worse when somebody jump scares him. Yeah, that's nice, but she's still going to fuck up that shoulder of hers. We will forgive her pain by accident. And if not us, the game will. Well, I'm sure we'll hear all about it once she starts streaming. But meanwhile, we got people to kill. The small black lands cleanly on my outstretched hands before it hits the ground. I raise an eyebrow at him, and he responds by shrugging and stuffing both his hands back to his pockets. Somewhere to the side, he finds an interesting spot to look at. Sometimes you have to wait, Papa said long ago. For once, this time I listen. His voice is halting, hesitant, when he finds it again.
My mom used to make me carry around one of those when I was young. To ward off evil and bring you luck, she said. I don't believe in this kind of thing now. But if it makes you feel safe, since you're a total scaredy cat, then I guess it's okay to give you one.
Jacob's gun says that it's going to be important. Perhaps at the moment there aren't any words for it. I've never been good with those. They're not bad after all. I closed the short distance separating us, and lightly, in a place of phrases I couldn't spin together or answer too early to seek over, I lean over and give him a little peck on the cheek. Words unsaid. The touch is short, fleeting. It kind of speaks volumes of boundaries we don't often cross as friends. Nevertheless, the dot is there. It lingers. The gentle autumn wind that passes in an empty space separating us when I step back and look up at him with a smile. I wonder if we would get this seed if we were a total dick to him. It's easy to express gratefulness this way, isn't it? At least, with my own family, that's the case. For the two of us, I'm not quite sure. Did he understand? After all, gratitude is considerably harder to put into words when you spend the latter half of your friendship teetering between good-natured jest and ruffling each other's feathers. Seconds pass before he clears his throat. His face is gone remarkably red. Whether from the heat or something else, I can't quite tell. But he understands. I know he does. Because the smile on him when he finally meets the eye is the gentlest I've seen him show.
I, gotta go. Got some reports I forgot to file the other day.
Yeah, see you around. Thanks for the ice cream and the charm.
Don't lose it. We won't find one here again if you do.
I won't. I might move like I have 2 left feet, but I know how to take care of my own stuff. I'm not a total klutz.
I know.
In Belle, remember that one time? Devlin Court?
I do. With all the clarity in the world.
At the time, when we... What I'm trying to say is that you can rely on me. If anything happens. Not the exact same thing, of course, but you get the idea. I'll be around.
You better.
I'll keep that in mind. You're not that bad after all.
Before leaving, he waves at me one last time. Next time we talk, we'll be back the way we are. Because at the end of the day, that's how things have always moved between us. We're familiar with, and we're comfortable with. But for all that, it's always easy to put my own faith in him. I just hope I can keep them safe. Keep him safe. A light wind blows again, sending dried leaves swirling, a distinct smell of earth into the air. For the first time, the sunlight feels less harsh. Maybe a walk is good. I need to visit the grocery too. Come to think of it, was there an art store that opened recently near the park? Professor Clark, Ashton Frey, and Isabel Santos met up at the coffee house to discuss the rumors surrounding the mansion. The professor warned the young woman not to take everything as face value. Before parting the ways at the park, Ashton gave Isabella a charm that supposedly wards off evil to help to put her mind at ease. The cat's name is Beruthiel. At least that's what it says in his collar. An odd name to give a cat, in my opinion, but it speaks way so much like the other one that carries it. It shows the way he switches his tail and eyes follow the hands every moment. I'm not sure what he finds fascinating in me, to be honest. I would very picture Grace when he found me, after all. It was a bad idea, carrying 2 heavy bags and unevenly poured art materials and groceries without help or a sure ride home. In hindsight, perhaps I shouldn't have bought all of these at the same time. I didn't even make it past the park. And now, I'm suffering underneath the glaring afternoon sun, hunched up in the park bench and drenched in sweat, the company of a cat curiously watching my every movement. Where's the cat? I hope it stays where it is. It's a black cat, but back home, to consider them humans. Show us the little void.
Don't look at me like that. I can act graceful as well if I want to.
Not that I've ever acted graceful in my life, of course. Growing up with a rowdy younger brothers and a sister does that. Maybe it's the opposite. Mama used to call me a little troublemaker before. Well, graceful or not, there's no use moping. A short breather and then I'm off home. Besides, it is like the company's bad, even if it's a cat, as long as it doesn't bite or crosses my path.
Where's your owner, anyway?
Show us a cat. He has one, doesn't he? An owner? That's what the collar is for, isn't it? Bandages wrapped in one of its poncho. I wonder what happened to it. Did he run away?
Well, if you don't have one, I won't be able to take you in. My apartment doesn't allow pets. I tried to bring one home before. A cat. Not black, of course.
Was it orange?
And Rebecca threw a fit before the landlady could.
I took a small packet of sweets from one of the bags behind me and popped it open. Aww. As I'm up with one into my mouth, he meows. My hand stops.
Do you want one?
He doesn't meow again as I'm expecting him to, but I take his unblinking gaze as a yes. I shift a piece to my palm and hold it out to him warily. He sniffs it once, twice, before...
Berufia!
Look at the kitty! He has big ears. And he looks... You know what he looks like? Look at the cat very closely. He has the Giga Chad face. Like a good, properly trained cat, Beruthiel responds as soon as he's called. Recognition comes as soon as my head snaps to the direction of the voice. Miss McCullough is hard to miss. But with her height...
I'm sorry. Did my cat hurt you? Miss Santos, was it? I'm surprised to see you here.
Nice to meet you again, Miss McCullough.
Were you harmed in any way? I'm sorry. Beruthiel's not exactly fond of other people. Even run away from the veterinarian right now.
Oh no, he was just sniffing my hand earlier.
My Beruthiel's a she.
Oh, I'm sorry. She? All this time I thought the pause in conversation, if this one can be called one, is uncomfortable. We're merely two people working different jobs for the same client. Frankly, meetings like this don't happen a lot. If it does, a simple nodding of heads is enough. You know, trying to be friendly wouldn't hurt us, right? Talk about the cat! Oh. Relationship down. I keep my tone cordial and warm.
I'm actually surprised you have a cat, Miss McCullough.
And why exactly is that? There are a lot of people who have pets.
Yeah, but not a black one. I'm amazed you're taking care of one.
I don't understand what you're trying to get at. Is there a problem with my cat?
No, not at all. She's very sweet. Just in other cultures, aren't they a sign of bad luck?
Back at home it is. My grandmother used to tell me stories about it,
Nothing
and
has happened to me so far.
displeasure is evident on her face. Of course, forgotten for other people, black cats are an omen of good luck. There you go again, running off your mouth, Isabel. I rack my brain in a way to remedy the situation, but she holds out a hand.
This is a good place to stop and end this conversation, don't you think so? It is good to see you again, Santos.
Isabella, you suck at conversation. Just talk about how cute the cat is. A complete dismissal if I've ever heard one. I watch her as she leaves, though she stops shortly before crossing the threshold separating the park and the street. She faces me again, looking like there's something she has forgotten to say.
Wait, about the Ermengarde mansion. With my clients, it's the rights. I mean, I hope you don't mind me asking, but has the deal been finalized?
There's still a few papers they need, but the house is more or less theirs now.
Ah, thank you. That's all I needed to know.
Wait, about the mansion. The
letter, the same one they saw. Whoever she is, she's asking for help. Someone. I want to tell Mix McCollum that the urban legends aren't just legends anymore. They're real. She's not going to believe me.
Don't mind me. I need to go too.
I know she's all professional and all now that I think about the choices, but seriously. Is it really that cut and dry that the only choices that are good with her are professional ones?
Have a good day, Miss McCullough.
I hastily pick up all the bags I've left on the bench and run away as far as my legs can take me. That moment, what I'm carrying in my hands weighed far lighter than the overwhelming guilt trying to consume me. Home. I want to go home. Anywhere where I won't be reminded of the house, of her, of my own cowardice. While looking after a lost cat, Isabella Santos met an interior designer, Marianne McCullough, by chance. She also happened to be the cat's owner. Two of her having small talk before Isabella abruptly left. As I look at the kitty cat, the food stays less appetizing tonight. A pity. One would think that someone with a continuous binge of instant noodles would find home-cooked meal enjoyable, but it isn't. Hunger isn't what is gnawing at me tonight. Catch on my sore muscles. The TV runs throughout in the background. What it says is barely registers in my brain. It's hard when the things you're trying to forget keeps returning to the forefront of your mind. It distracts you, eats at you, devours you. I wish this would stop. I wish it wasn't the one who picked it up. I wish it was somebody else.
Local news. A woman was found dead in her home. Luxbourne police officials are currently investigating the crime scene, but has classified the case as homicide.
Huh?
The victim, identified as Rose Pamela Cooper, 33 years old, working as a real estate agent.
There goes Rose. And this is why Rose wasn't on the list. She was the first one who saw the letter. And she wasn't on the relationship list for this specific reason. Rose?
Discovered lying in a pool of blood in her two-bedroom flat with the words "Help me" repeatedly written on the walls.
Another victim by the Anselm Butcher? No. This isn't what I want. This isn't supposed to happen. None of this is supposed to happen. No one's supposed to die. Those are just stories, right? Legends. That's what everyone kept telling me, so why? And I... Immediately I rushed to my study table and searched off my phone. My hand, cold from church, clings tightly as soon as it touches its edges. A piece of folded paper, the letter, lying presumably beside it, slips to the floor when I pick up the device, but I paid no mind. There are more important things. Right now, I need to call her. I was with her. I was just with her not too long ago and she was okay. No. It isn't Rose, I'm sure of it. I just talked to her and a sob escapes me and hot tears began to blur my vision. One after another, they trickled down, weighed by my very same guilt I refuse to admit I've been carrying from the start. The same one I've been hiding from. The same one that has put people I care about in danger. My hands shake as I navigate Rose's number on my contact list. She'll answer right. That's what she always does. She'll pick up, tell me to turn down the waterworks, and call me a what's
She'll
afterwards.
answer. Please answer, Rose.
Again and again I dial, whispering, praying, pleading.
Come on, Rose. Don't do this to me. Please pick up. I know you're there, Rose. You're not dead. Please tell me you're not.
This adds to the series of deaths and disappearances that has plagued Luxborn in the recent years. The authorities are currently looking at a possible link with the notorious Anselm Butcher case.
The TV runs loudly in the background, deafening static sounds from my phone's speakers. But in my ears, I can only hear the screams, her pleas, her whispers. We are not safe. The first one gets struck down. News broke the Rose Copier being found dead in her flat evening before. The authorities classified the crime as homicide, possibly linked to the notorious Anselm Butcher, a mysterious serial killer who had committed brutal murders over the years and left their bodies with his signature phrase, "Help me." Oh, curious. The passing sensation jolts me awake. My body still wants to sleep, to forget what I heard, what I saw last night. But it's there, notching, prodding at me. Slowly, I become aware of how awkward my position is, and the aches that accompany sleeping in a curled up position the night before. If I even slept at all. Memories are impossible to forget now that's Rose gone. Rose is gone. They say it's easier when you say it out loud. Instead, the words weigh heavier on me each time. She's gone. Gone because of me. Gone because of one letter I was too curious to look at. I should have been more careful. I should have just kept my mouth shut. I should have destroyed it before anyone else had gotten involved. I should have... The notification light on my laptop blinks incessantly, mockingly, when I look at it, as if it's calling me back to the sense of normalcy. To all BRC employees, in the light of the recent events, there will be an all-staff emergency meeting from 1 p.m. to p.m. Attendance is a must. Company changes, new hierarchies, and policies will be discussed during the meetings. Everyone is expected to bring a copy of their own attendance logs and sales reports of the last 6 months to be submitted to your respective managers for review. We're expecting everyone's cooperation. Thank you, John Ellis Schultz, BRC HR Manager. I check it nevertheless out of happy more than anything. If this was one of those typical names, I happily comply and get myself to our office. Today my limbs just feel heavy. On one hand, going will keep me busy, take my mind elsewhere. On the other, the place in itself is a stark reminder of what my own fears have cost me. I should... Oh boy. This is difficult. Logically, a close person to us just died because of us. We should stay at home. And avoid the boss's angry shouting and all that. But we'd probably get fired from that. Or we could drag ourselves to work but be an absolute zombie, being useless. You know, it probably doesn't matter. Moping won't get me anywhere. This is just like one of those things, isn't it? You deal with a smile, no matter how bad things get, and hope for the best. Although my body feels like lead and my limbs are sore, I push myself away from the chair and head for the shower. The letter I dropped on the floor last night flutters open as I pass by, unfolding for no one else but me to see. Every word written on it glares back at me. They sneer, they ridicule, like living beings fully aware of what they've done. With a huff, I pick it up and shove it into my bag, perhaps with more anger and frustration than I'm used to showing. You know what? If anyone at the office pisses you off, just show them this letter. Problem solved. This too I'll deal with. Somehow I'll find a way and make things right. I have to, before it takes more people from me, even if I must do it on my own. Papers rustling, telephones ringing, feet shuffling. Overall, today looks like a typical working day at Briar Realty Corporation. Except it isn't. Here stick with tension and spoken questions. No doubt everyone present has already heard about Rose. They missed last night's report they liked to see it in the morning news, the papers, or on various news sites on the internet. Everywhere is a better reminder. In fact, everyone's giving me a white berth, as though a mere mention of Rose would be enough to trigger something in me. It's appreciated, but it only serves to create a bigger hole in the place Rose has left. After lunch, my boss calls for a meeting. I don't have to look up from my work to know what it is about. He's in a strange, pensive mood today, probably out of respect for a dead colleague. Oddly, I'd appreciate more if you just shouted at me today. Anything is better.
I'm sure you've all heard of what happened to Miss Cooper. She was a valued member of our team and she will be missed. There's no date for a funeral yet, but those who wish to attend, kindly speak with your respective supervisors. By the way, has anyone heard about our still AWOL staff? None? HR, you know what to do.
HR picks up a rifle.
Santos, a word? In my office?
At the end of it, I've been killing the entirety of Rose's workload, including finalizing the rights for papers, and I've been promised an ample compensation for my efforts. I think he's expecting me to be happy about it. Instead, I immerse myself in my work. I have to anyway, if I want to forget. Achievement unlocked, Employee of the Month. Isabella Santos drowned herself with work the whole day to forget about the devastating news of her mentor's death. However, she ended up stumbling upon the mysterious disappearance of her other colleagues. And just when she realizes something important. Time flies when you do, and by the time I give notice, it's already too late. Everyone's already gone, leaving me in the company of Radio and a member of our janitorial staff. I don't even know his name. Rose likely does. She remembers people easily like that.
Police Department continues its search for the following reported missing people.
The radio plays one name after another. Hold on a second. Missing. Aren't they? Still, I have to check. Frantic, I turn back to my desktop, tapping up my fingers against the keys filled the office for the better part of my shift as I look through everything. The background about the place, the history from the current owner, and the list of employees hide under BRC. And I'm right. Of course I am. The BRC may have a lot of staff, they might have a lot of agents hired, but I'd remember those names anywhere. After all, they're also part of the crew who worked with us in preparing the mansion for the open house. And the letters? No, that can't be. I hope it's not what I'm thinking.
But Rose is...
Something snaps into place in a fracture of a moment. Those people. The Rose.
I need
letter.
to... No, if it's like this, they still won't believe me. I have to make sure of it first.
Evidence doesn't lie. That's what Ash often says, right? If I have proof, then maybe. I don't want to get my hopes up yet, but maybe there's still a way I can save them. Turns out going to work was actually a good idea. Letter, my phone, papers, anything that will be useful. I grab all of them and stuff in my bag. I can't stay here. There's something I need to do. There's something those people should... The noise cut sharply through the room, stopping my hand short of the cramming pen into my bag.
Hello? Anyone there?
Sounded like a printer. Someone must have left their printer open again. I may be in a hurry, but if I don't turn it off, another person is certainly going to have to fit tomorrow over wasted company resources. Oh no, 5 papers used. Most of the time, it's Rose who does the nagging, but the click of my pen in my hand is a welcome distraction as I search for the said option. Each stride my feet takes also goes throughout the empty workplace. I lost the sight of the janitor minutes ago. And with me being the only one left, tapping up my feet against the wooden floor is something I soon learned to appreciate. It doesn't take me long to find it. By the time I turn it off, 5? Funny that it's 5. Are already strewn about the ground, the paper tray having also been left ajar. Sighing, I pick each of them to put someplace proper. But the page that reaches me makes my blood run cold. The chill that makes its way my spine is as numbing as the day in the attic. The sheets crinkle under my tense grip. All I can hear is my breathing as it rasps through my gritted teeth. Before I can even gather myself, take the first steps out of here. Total darkness suddenly envelops me. And as if airing every horrid thought running inside my head right now, something snaps. A soft creak grazing through the thin veil of stillness that has descended in the room. Every muscle, every bone in my body goes rigid at the sound. Familiar. So familiar now. Yet my own traitorous curiosity still presses me to take a careful peek over the cubicle wall. It's her. Standing at the only exit of the office, albeit facing away from me. She doesn't even need to turn around for me to know it's the same misshapen face, the hard clothes, and the unsightly gait. It's the same person at the attic. I take the same step back, the pen I'm holding slips from my hand, and her entire head turns. A scream almost escapes my mouth, and I duck under the table as quickly as I can. My heart is pounding hard against my chest. I can hear the bone-chilling sound of her walk, weird clicking that follows her, and a telltale squelch of something wet as she walks towards me. Nearer and nearer. The sounds are getting louder. The only thing keeping the whimper from escaping me is my hand as it covers my mouth. Someone, please save me. Anyone. I close my eyes, muttering a constant stream of prayers, all while attempting to steady my own breathing. Please, please, don't let her near me. Hear me. The seconds, minutes stretch out before me agonizingly. She gone? Slowly open my eyes to take a peek. I don't dare to move or make a noise. She's missing her foot. In the face of such terror, I could only beg, let out silent pleas to whoever is out there. Please, please don't let her notice. I want to live. Hannah. Did we just switch to another character? We did. Okay, let's find about this woman. Birth date, April 30th. Taurus, 31 years old. Height, 5'7". A slightly bit taller than me. Occupation, heiress, former finance manager. Nationality, British. Of course she is. Religion, Anglican. What was Isabella? Roman Catholic. Okay. Education, Masters in Business Administration, major in accounting. So she's not as dumb as she looks. Likes whatever French word that is. Dogs, fashion, parties and dancing, the beach, children, iconic women, charity, and math. Again, she's not as dumb as she looks. And apparently her whole name is Hannah Wright-Nee Evans. Of the Luxborn upper classes, Hannah is used to living in a life of luxury. Absent parents made her crave for attention, though, something she gained from her private tutors and nannies instead. It was never enough, however. She studied hard in order to make her parents proud, doing the business that she could work alongside them. The challenge in her otherwise privileged life was certainly a thrill for her, at the very least. She had many suitors, dating different men and women, but it was through work that she met Luke. It was love at first sight for her. Upon her parents' death, Luke proposed to her. That was a move that led merging of the Wright Enterprise and Evans Incorporated and her subsequent retirement. Their 7-year marriage is strained, but Hannah tries her best to make it work. It is far too easy to get them to pay attention. Enraptured, they hang on to every word and follow by every move. All of it would have been stifling if I had not grown used to such stares. Most are respectful. Some are hostile, if we're honest. And few are downright inappropriate. After all, I am...
Hannah Wright!
There's a moment of agitation as a familiar, but less than a welcome face approaches me with a suggested smirk on his face. Of course, I have to keep a benevolent smile and greet him as I greet any good friends. After all, this man can turn heads, being famous in his own right.
Officer Lee! What a pleasant surprise. I didn't think you'd have the time to attend tonight's party.
He's more of a Luke's friend than mine, really? I'm quite sure I only invited his wife. It's like I'm only friends with the Chief Inspector because of Luke. Luke is only friends with Rochelle because of me. I like how I treated Lee, however. Luke never hid his animosity with Lee matriarch. It was an odd sort of friendship where we would have awkward double dates. I don't recall his first name. It started with an N, I think. I might be wrong. Aside from being the Chief Inspector of Luxborn Police, his wife, Rochelle Lee Vance, owns a general electronics company. Fridges and freezers, mostly.
Oh, I always have time for my favourite socialite couple. Might I say, you look positively ravishing tonight.
Please don't use the term ravishing.
I see the husband isn't with you.
What are you suggesting? I thought you had a wife. Just a second. Unfair? The way he eyes me up is enough to make my skin crawl. I just wish Luke is here to fend off the more unseemly of our peers. You know the ones. Men who are just a bit too friendly, staying too long at my assets, and getting close just because my husband is not here. And to think they had the gall to do this at my own party. In my own house, if I might add. But like any high society woman's worth her salt, I know how to handle it with grace and dignity.
I suppose you are looking pleasant as well. Luke's busy with work, unfortunately. Rochelle isn't here?
A shame. I do hope he isn't causing you much trouble. That husband of yours can be a bit daft sometimes, acting like he's still some young bachelor. The wife sends her regards and her apologies, but something came up with a doctor and she needed to attend to it. You know her, being pregnant and all.
Fair. We'll make small talk. Rather, I'm forced to do so, as he would not leave my side after finding his place there. Much to my chagrin, I've been extricated from the few who flock in hopes of flattering, for I can tolerate them far better than Lee. He's a nice enough person. I adore his wife, who is obviously the brains behind the two, but there is something unsettling about him. I do not trust him as much as I want to. Regale to me the tales of Luxburn Police Department, a different affair to the usual gossip I'm privy to, and though I'm loath to admit, it is interesting nonetheless. Expect the topic of business to die out quickly, which would be understandable enough due to the confidential nature of his work. But oh boy, I was wrong.
So, wearing civvies, I steal and drive off with one of the police mobiles, right? In the mirror, I see the mutant chasing on foot and screaming about theft. The look on his face was priceless when I parked in the garage.
Oh my. You made him chase you all the way home for a prank. What did Rochelle have to say about that?
Rochelle has a strange love and hate affair with Lee. He's a married man who did not grow up past his early 20s, judging from the way he acts. Surprising enough, they've been married for a good 20 years. Hannah, as much as I cannot tolerate your posh British behavior, even I must agree with you that Lee is not good. He's far from good. And that is to put it lightly. A lifetime if you compare to my marriage of 7 years with Luke. I, on the other hand, well, Luke is no Lee. I should be happy about that, I suppose. Although my darling did have his moments.
Yeah, the wife pulled my ear and gave me a good talking to, though. Besides, we live in a flat a block away, so it wasn't much of a grand chase.
Weren't you living in a house near the countryside?
Moved for work, you know. Or you probably don't.
No, I don't. But a flat in downtown? I suppose if that's what you like.
Oh, it's horrid. Hate that tiny place, no matter how convenient it can be for work. 55 square yards are not enough when you need to get away from the wife.
Oh, you're one of them.
I wouldn't mind a place away from the city. Even started looking at the ads. I spied an interesting lot, actually. Heard it was finally put up for sale. Or that something mansion, you know the one with all the ghost stories.
I know what he's talking about. There are really only a few urban legends around here. It's...
The Ermagerd Mansion?
Ermagerd. Nice one.
That's the one. Worthy of a king it is. I'd buy it myself, but Rochelle would only gripe if I brought it up to her. Not to mention all the expenses a place like that will be a real fixer-upper. You also have to find someone willing to work there with how superstitious people can be.
If it becomes a problem, just hire someone to do an exorcism.
Actually, I do know of someone who could be up to the task.
Oh?
You remember the Ludgates party at their Christchurch summer residence?
Of course. It was an excellent soiree. Everything was so classy, too. Such good taste.
Oh, that place was a pigsty until they hired out this interior designer and they turned it into a bloody palace. She worked for the Exodus for their apartment in Soho too, and they recommended her when we were looking up pieces for our beach house in Porto Colom.
I wonder if this is happening before the timeline.
I think I have a business card right at... No, I must have left it in my other jacket. Anyway, she's called, what's her name? McCullough, Marianne, I believe, yes. But truly, if anyone were to get that place in McCullough, well, they'd be the envy and the talk of the town.
Well, if you put it that way, I might just snatch it up for myself. This place was starting to feel a bit small lately anyway.
Sure, a 3-story penthouse might not fit the definition of small for some people. Okay, maybe a lot of people. But it isn't big enough to have grand parties in. As it is, I only invited about 30 people to this one, and it already feels cramped in here. It certainly would be nice to have a ride and elevator up and down several floors before I can get anywhere as well. All looks for and not mine. Besides, I have been looking for a good anniversary gift. Luke might like this one. Where is he anyway? I was right. Yep, this happened before. And now we're back on October 21st. Had a ride to a party in their penthouse at the cache. The city's most powerful were seen, including Chief Inspector Harvey Lee of the Luxburn Police Department. From him, the socialite heard of the Ermengarde Mansion coming open house and interior designer Marianne McCullough. Luke is dressed to the nines, as he usually is, and he looks ready for whatever the day will throw at him. His butler and valet wait at his side, just in case he isn't as ready as he looks. Oh sure, that is normal. What is confusing is the fact that he's on his way out of the penthouse, considering we won't have anywhere to go until much later.
Where are you going?
I am to attend the Triad Autumn tasting. I do believe I informed you of this 2 weeks ago.
Yes. And might I remind you that I had stricken that off your schedule? Because 1, the doctor told you to stop consuming so much alcohol. And 2, I informed you a few days ago about the open house we are going to attend in its place. I've even found this marvelous interior designer, Marianne McCullough.
It's a 3.5-hour drive to Cardiff. I don't have time for this. This is like that little party you threw all over again. You don't inform me of it, and you expect me to stay and be a gracious host when I have business elsewhere. You know how I operate, Hana. Unless this was penciled in, I am sticking to my schedule.
If I may intrude, the madam is correct. Your physician did insist you moderate your drinking, unless you wish to incur acute pancreatitis. And you did have this open house penciled in last Wednesday morning.
Bullocks, I don't remember doing so.
Well, you did. While very hungover, in fact.
He did. Moaned about me being too loud, but gave in after some pushing. Perhaps that was a bit too cruel and manipulative of me, but...
What side are you on?
Come on, Luke. You promised we'd do whatever I want this weekend.
Gordon Bennett, fine. I am giving this house tour of yours a chance. But if it proves to be a waste of time, I am going to Cardiff, and you are going to take a cab home. Are we clear?
It's just a bit of a husband and wife tit for tat, isn't it? All couples have their arguments. Once the honeymoon phase is over, as they seem to call it, reality sets in that you and your partners might not always see eye to eye. As it has been the years, 7 of them is nothing to scoff at.
I just cannot bloody believe I agreed to this. I was really looking forward to the triad tasting.
Though sometimes I think it's something a bit more than just a simple disagreement, and I have to stop myself from wondering where we went
There's
wrong.
always the Triad Christmas tasting in Manchester next month, and that'll only be an hour and a half drive.
Have I been neglectful? Have I offended? Have I acted shamefully?
Yes, but Cardiff.
Certainly. Any problem can be discussed. As long as he doesn't turn me away.
Well, there goes my good mood. Are you happy now, Hana?
Yes. Why must he treat me this way?
Yes, I am very happy, Luke. Because for once in a very long time, we are doing what I want.
Wow, the relationship up. I'm surprised. And according to this, she really doesn't like Ashton and Isabella. The rest of them are okay.
I'm ecstatic. Understood. And this would be perfect if you stop acting like a child who needs their nappy changed. We will be leaving after lunch for the Ermengarde mansion. You are going to park your rear in the car and keep mum. And you are going to behave during the tour.
Needless to say, Luke looks a bit shocked at my little outburst. He opened and closed his mouth a few times, struggling to reply before he crosses his arms to look like, well, a moping child.
Any more rules for this little excursion of yours, Your Highness?
No wine.
No wine? Unacceptable! I am already not allowed to the tasting, and you would deprive me of that simple pleasure?
If I see you take one sip today, I will put the stocks under lock and key. Do you understand me?
Don't forget the bottles he keeps in his dresser.
Thank you, Johannes.
Whose side are you on?
How many times in one day can you ask that?
As many times as I need you, traitor.
Hold up. I was thinking a blonde battler from Umineko. I can see the Weasley comparison though. Meanwhile, I'm conflicted. I don't know if I should apologize for changing his plans like that. By the time we arrive at the mansion, see his eyes light up at the genuine interest, apologize is the last thing on my mind. The whole affair with the Ermengarde mansion is certainly an interesting experience. The place has been renovated and restored by the owners to what they claim to be acceptable standards. The mansion itself looks like something befitting a fairy tale or a period piece. It is tastefully decorated, and with a little bit of love and attention, I'm sure it can be a place Luke and I can call home. And the number of other prospective buyers that have come from the powerful and the wealthy of Luxburg and Sergi did not disappoint, marking this estate as a prime property. The Lees are amongst the group that went with the Rose woman, and I saw other notable faces, though I did not really feel like mingling. Unfortunately, for every one of them, Wrights are interested in buying. Real and well. What's been bugging in my mind, however, is that Isabella. What is her problem? It's weird to see her out of the box. I still don't quite understand what is happening. One moment she's scrambling to give us the paperwork to finalize the sale, then she's panicking over some sort of prank letter or another.
Dear me, is Isabelle alright?
It is apparent the way she shakes and by the pallor of her skin, something has really shaken her up.
Isabella, do you need me to call that ambulance?
I am worried, but it is best if she attended by someone more familiar to her, like her partner. But even then, the girl refuses Rose's offered drink and looks just about ready to make a run for it.
No, I'm just feeling a bit out of it. Excuse me. I'll be back. I just need to catch my breath.
And she does so, just as I predicted, and her partner follows like a concerned mutter. There is an awkward air among us as among us as we are left in the wake of whatever that was. It was an imposter. The otters murmur and gossip with each other, speaking of the poor daft girl and telling the tale of whoever was not audience to the act in the first place. It doesn't take too long for the woman Rose to return and pull us aside in the study for what I rightfully assume is damage control. Rose invites Marianne in too, in hoping to apologize to her as well. But the woman refuses, saying she's not one of her clients anyway. That leaves Rose, Luke, and the last all too eager to make himself comfortable in a study he's no doubt already claimed as his own.
I can't apologize enough about what just happened. Please forgive Isabella. She's been under a lot of pressure lately. She's young and all those rumors about this being haunted just got to her head. And it must be this terrible heat too. Not a drop of rain for days now.
Are you sure it is wise to just let her go like that? Where is the poor dear? She might get hurt.
She's more likely to hurt somebody else, given what just happened.
I told her to sit down and take a break. Already rang someone to pick her up too.
That might be for the best, dear.
Huh.
But please, we're here to talk about the mansion, yes?
As pompous as she is, it does sound like that she had a bit of worry there. As surface level as it might be.
Why, I absolutely adore it. Don't you, Luke? Some of the rooms will certainly have to be repurposed. We want to change the appliances and have Marianne lead on the decor, but the whole thing is just lovely.
I guess. It's certainly a lot roomier than our penthouse.
Exactly. Lots of space for guests, parties, a lot of room for little ones to run around too.
Let's not discuss that right now, Buttercup. Anyway, I do think it would be a shame to let this mansion slip past us.
But you haven't even finished touring the house.
Well, we like what we've seen.
I'm making her job easier for her, am I not? No need for loans or long price negotiations. We can just sign the contract and close the deal. Really, you'd think the woman will be more happy about the easy sale. I know how this estate agent worked, how long they had to wait, and how much they had to spend even just a single sale. Why, she should be jumping for joy by now. I'm sure the commission on this mansion is nothing to sneeze at, even if she has to split it with the Isabel girl.
Do you think we could have horses here?
Not?
Yes, those do sound nice, love. Anyway, if anyone else is interested in buying this property, I assure you that I'm able and willing to give a better offer.
A vineyard would be nice. Or maybe
And we do reward our people quite generously, Rose.
That's a familiar sentence.
So if I were you, I would start on that paperwork.
Helicopter pad.
I pause. And there's a small moment of complete silence where Rose and I just stared incredulously at Luke. It is an unspoken understanding, a rule between the two of us that we have to put on an act. With our social standing, for image matters, it is also important to avoid making enemies. And follow this rule is an easy feat for me. From youth, have been well-trained social butterfly, gracious and graceful. Luke, on the other hand...
Wait, what, Luke? No, what? Whatever would we need a helipad for?
A helipad? Well, he likes to play the fool sometimes, even if he's anything but. As he throws me a wry smile, I shake my head and beckon Rose over. This is to be our home, and there's nothing she or anyone else can do to change my mind. This is a place that speaks of power and importance, and at the same time, of safety and comfort. Perhaps we can even have our family here. There's definitely no better gift than this for a special date. Why, everything here is absolutely wonderful. Well, except for this ugly painting in the study. Guys, I don't think that is a painting. That looks way too familiar. I think that's a mirror. So, excuse me for a second and enjoy seeing this horrible image. It seems that this game coloring is of high contrast. Nothing wrong with a game with a high contrast coloring. I have simply noticed that such games tend to strain my eyes, so I'm gonna keep them closed for a few seconds to give them a break. I've encountered a similar problem with Persona games. Unlike every other game that I play, they seem to be of odd high contrast that strains my eyes, even with mods meant to decrease that. And Souls missed the perfect opportunity to scare me while my eyes were closed. It is too late for that now. It looks like a bad fake of an Edvard Munch painting.
Here's the deal. I'm willing to pay 10% higher than your listing price. If anyone tries to outbid us, just add another 5%. I doubt anyone can, of course. Or, you know what? Just add 15% to the listing price, and we can sign all the paperwork now.
I guess, if that's what you want. That won't be any trouble. I don't have all the papers now. Didn't think this would be a quick sell. I'll have copies sent to you so you can look over them. And if you'd still like to finish the rest of the tour with Isabella's group, you're more than welcome to.
No, I think we're good here. We'd appreciate a private tour of the place a lot more, I think.
All right. Should I let Marianne in, then?
Marianne? Oh, right. She's been outside of the study this whole time, hasn't she? I'll need to have a little chat with her to move this little mansion project forward.
Please do.
There's a look of apprehension when the other woman enters the study. Yet, like a professional, I see the moment when she steels herself and masks her worry. Admirable.
We have this project then?
Of course. Will you be needing anything from us?
Having the floor plans would be a great start, just so that I can look at them beforehand. And if you could tell me when you're available for a meeting so that I can include it in my calendar?
Oh, is a meeting really all that necessary, Marianne? I guess we can send Johans to help you out. You two can start by getting rid of this ugly painting.
A hush falls upon the room at my request.
What painting?
And lo and behold, the painting is gone. In its place, a mirror stands, which leaves me to look at my own confused expression.
Odd. Well, no matter. Back to the topic at hand. Marianne, dear, we are simply far too busy to meet up.
Or perhaps maybe I should. Free up my schedule.
But I guess we can free up a day to meet with you. I don't really need another Maudlin Monday reading about Maury anyway. The book club can function without me for one day. What time shall we be seeing each other? How does lunch sound?
Besides, my house has higher priority over book club. Why, we could hold the next meeting in this place? Surely the beauty and grandeur of it all will inspire spirited and lively debates about whether modern-day writers could match up to its classics. I might as well clear up the rest of my week to handle whatever affairs buying this mansion requires of me. Any social activity can be off-put until Ermengarde, or rather, the right mansion's great debut. I'll have my fill of great parties and gatherings, especially when I organize them myself.
That sounds good.
I just looked at the time. It's 3:33 here. We're all dead.
Although, with a project of this scope, we might need most of the day to tackle your concerns. A more thorough inspection of the place is also preferable.
Breakfast then. It's a date.
It's really not.
All right. Monday. 10 o'clock sharp. We'll see you then.
Actually, Marianne suggested that we meet at night. But here's we would have wake at that unholy hour. I was lucky enough to wake up this morning before Luke went all the way to Cardiff. We say our goodbyes, shake hands, and make it clear, without outright saying it, that we now own this house. By the time we left the mansion grounds, sunset is almost upon us.
So, you really want to buy this place then? That's a bit of a big impulse buy, even coming from you. Not that I'm complaining.
Why the heck did he look like Giovanni for a second? I feel elation when I hear those words from him. It's not every day one is able to please someone like Luke. He gives away false flattery to sway those who starve for his attention and approval. But in the privacy of closed doors, he would often express his grievances. He neither censors himself in front of me, nor spared me from his criticism.
I've been saying the penthouse was getting a bit too small for you. Happy anniversary.
Oh, that time of the year already?
He forgot about it the last year too. I understand he's a busy man, but...
Is that why you want to buy it?
Yes. You don't like it?
I do. But I remember you used to talk about how you wanted to live next to the beach.
Botany Bay, Kent. I remember the sea, water, and stretched down for miles and miles, as far as I can see. As a kid, I loved our beach trips, swimming all day as much as I could. You should have picked the beach. I was a well-behaved child, and the only time I was ever truly difficult was when I refused to get out of the waters, even when my fingers had gone all wrinkly. And even when they managed to pull me out of the water, there was always sandcastles. The day before I married, I told Duke that I wanted a house, on a beach, and a dog. A kid or two. None of those came true. 7 years later.
That was a childish dream. Living next to the beach is so impractical if you really think about it.
I don't know. It's not a bad thought to see you in a bathing suit every day.
Maybe another time, love. We still have forever, don't we?
He says nothing, only grabbing my hand and holding it tight as we spend the rest of the ride home in silence. I miss the sea. sick and hovering over the loo at 3 in the morning. The picture I paint right now is hardly glamorous. A horrible fishy taste is left in my mouth as I throw up what I had for dinner, and I hate the acrid stench that fills the lavatory. The burning sensation at the back of my throat is of no help whatsoever. I can feel another wave of nausea come after me when the door opens.
What are you doing so early out of bed?
I'm fine, love. I must have just eaten something bad.
That's all I managed to say before vomiting again in the porcelain throne. Lovely.
Just go back to bed, Luke. I'm going to clean up here.
I refuse to look at him. I don't want him to see me like this. Last time I had a horrible morning retching into a toilet was during my college years. Being the life of a party. Thoughtless and shameless, I had thrown away months of frivolous experiment and pointless hookups. I didn't even retain any of the connections I made from that time. Sure, they still know of me, and I still know of them. We still do business from time to time, but I've lost touch with anyone who I didn't see on a daily basis. I hardly have any friends when I was still Hannah Evans. Teachers, fellow university students, drinking buddies, and old conquests like Jack.
No, don't touch me, sweetie. It's disgusting. I'm disgusting.
Luke sits down next to me on the toilet floor and holds my hair until I cough up more fish. He wipes the vomit off the corner of my mouth and just stares.
Do I need to fire someone? I don't feel sick.
Just feeling a bit under the weather, dear. It's been unbearably hot as of late, hasn't it? I do wish it would rain.
Are you sure it wasn't those sweets? I told you not to eat those sweets.
Maybe. Well, don't laugh.
Well, I can't help if you make that sort of face.
He starts chuckling, and soon enough, he's in a fit of laughter. The scene is happening next to a loo filled with sick just makes the whole thing bizarre. It nearly makes me start giggling as well. I try to stifle it, though, as I smack him on the shoulder.
I'm not making a face, Luke. Stop laughing. Shut.
When he would not stop laughing, I let myself go as laughter bubbles on my own throat, and I forget whatever ill feelings plagued me. We're just a husband and wife, laughing together at a funny face, the little things in life. I let myself go because I know that these moments will not last forever. But if I know the terrible things that are come for us, I would have wished at everything I have, and there that the laughter stayed. 26th?
Hiya! Come on now!
That's a big jump. We left at the 24th. Straight to 26th. Oh. During the open house, Hannah pressured the estate agent to sell the mansion. Wright also met their interior designer during the ride home. Hannah revealed that the mansion is her anniversary gift for Luke. Things seemed to be good until Hannah suddenly fell ill later that night. The place is bustling with movers, carrying furnishing here and there, along with several trunks of personal belongings taken from our penthouse. Luke watches them like hawk, making sure nothing is handled carelessly or gets stolen.
Careful now. I know your pictures are framed by cheap plastic, but those are framed by African Blackwood and are one-of-a-kind commissioned paintings. Each one is easily worth a lifetime of what you lot make.
Luke, do the dishwashers go into the kitchen or the butler's pantry?
Pantry, Buttercup. Careful, that's Emma No, you there, put that down. You do not manhandle a Napoleon Abueva.
I can see the exasperation. I have sent the foreman an apologetic glance. Even Johannes rolls his eyes as he goes by. Considering Luke is always like this during a project, Johannes and I have gotten used to it. Poor Marianne, on the other hand, looks a bit stressed after seeing the gigantic mess before quickly going back to work. Everything just has to be perfect exactly the way he wants it. One little thing out of place, one little thing that didn't fit the image he clearly constructed in his head, and Luke's get bent out of his shape.
Sweetie, why don't we go and sort your suits upstairs? Let your Hans and Marianne and the foreman deal with the rest of the work.
We have this, Mrs. Wright.
Yes, please do go before a blood vessel bursts. Bloodstains are so troublesome to clean.
Taking him by the hand, I lead him upstairs into our bedroom. The place has been arranged first so we can get some rest, no matter what state the rest of the mansion is. I'm definitely glad I can lie down to a soft, comfy bed after what's been a busy morning. Watching Luke act like his life depended on getting this move done is tiring all of its own. And I think I have the whole day of this ahead of me. I feel the bed dip beside me as Luke sits down with a sigh.
I can't wait for this to be over.
I don't know. It's fun seeing you all fired up. Here at home and not at work, you know.
You know I can't always be home, Hana. I have a company to run, unless you've forgotten.
I haven't forgotten. You're the one who insists on being there to make sure each and every little thing is under control. I just really miss you sometimes, and I wish you were at home more often. Why, if you're not careful, I might go a bit loopy and I'll start bringing cats home.
That's seriously loopy, knowing that you're not a cat person.
And soon enough, one day you'll find yourself going home to a farm just filled with felines that follow you everywhere.
Oh, don't bluff. The things would shred up your precious furniture. Besides, you don't even like cats.
True. Dogs are infinitely superior, of course.
But what about the wet dog smell? The mess? I'm not cleaning up after a mutt, no matter how cute. If you think about it, a cat would be better.
We laugh. It's not always that we can just lie down and talk about these sorts of things. We joke around as if we're teenagers again, with a very little problem in the way of responsibilities and roles. Here's genuine, honest to goodness laughter is a rarity. This is just the second time, as of late, and I can only see it as a sign of good things to come.
All good points. I guess we could just have kids. That is, if you prefer dealing with soiled nappies and sick as opposed to dead birds, mice, and litter boxes. I've already told Marianne about turning the second bedroom into a children's room.
I guess sometimes I don't know when I'm crossing a line. I didn't say that I'm a good comedian, did I?
Not this again.
What? I wasn't being serious.
It's not something you take the piss out of. Having a kid is a big responsibility, Hana. We've talked about this, haven't we? I'm not ready to be a parent. I'd probably end up killing the little brat by the week's end.
You know, Luke is probably right. Relationship down. I feel guilty, uneasy even, about bringing this topic up. This isn't the first time I brought it out there, since we've been married for 7 years. But I should have learned my lesson. Talk about it has always gotten me disapproval. After all, this is one of the surefire ways to get Luke into a terrible mood.
But I do think you...
Don't finish that sentence, Hana. Just don't. We know how this discussion ends. Let's not fight over what-ifs and if-onlys.
But what if we are going to have a family, Luke? What then?
I just told you. No what-ifs.
We won't talk about it until you're ready.
Let's not talk about it then. Ever.
The silence that follows is stifling. I avert my gaze from him, favoring the view of our four-poster bed, overseeing his embittered expression. Just thinking how insensitive I am for bringing it up makes me feel sick to my stomach. Stay still. Neither of us dared to make a first move to leave. Until a crash from downstairs cut through the tension.
Oh, bloody hell, what is it now? I can't get away for 10 minutes without someone mucking something up. That better not be what I think it is. I know it's only an 8 million yen vase, but I swear, I'll...
If I'm not mistaken, that is about $80,000. About. I don't stop him as he storms off, and he doesn't even bother to look my way. Yet, I can feel his eyes boring into me, alone as per usual. The bride moved to the newly bought mansion today and was already preparing for a housewarming party. In a short break, the couple had a brief discussion about children. Luke didn't sound too welcoming of the idea. See, if we were to get Luke killed, Hannah would probably get another husband that would approve of children. Alone as per usual, I really should be used to it by now. I can feel the minutes tick by with me just lying there, feeling miserable and full of self-pity. I have rolled over to lie on my stomach at this point, my face buried in my pillows when there's a knock at the door. Rumbling at them to go away doesn't work as the voice comes from the other side.
Madam, the photographer from Luxury Living is here.
Wait, is that today? Oh yes. People have got the wind of our new mansion. Very moment we left the open house. Luke had boasted he could acquire the property in no time and allowed photo shoot for an interior design magazine to be scheduled today. Well, there were complications and it took longer than it usually does for us.
In a minute, Hansi.
Johannes, if you could at least make it through the end.
Tell them I'll be right down, Hansi.
The mansion grounds has to be one of the first things to be fixed up, aside from the bedroom. Although it's still a work in progress, it's a promising start and I can already see the flower patches. Luke's favorite daffodils stand out easily, having to be transplanted from the pots that used to litter the rooftops of our penthouse. Why, if the moving crew thought that Luke was being hard on them, they clearly didn't see the landscaper on its way out. The man looked like he was ready to faint, and Luke seemed ready to kill him by the end of their discussion. The photographer is Zack! I didn't expect this. It is the gardens that I see him standing with the flowers in a quiet admiration. The world's a small place. He's hard to miss. The hawk of a man that clearly did not belong. The big backpack and a suitcase he has makes him look much larger. It's a peculiar sight, seeing someone who looks like he does handling little, delicate things with such care. Looks up from the gardens and does a double take before friendly face replaces his serene expression.
Miss Wright, yeah? Hi, Zachary Steele here from Luxury Living, ma'am. Hope you weren't waiting too long. But it looks like you're still moving in, huh? Thought for a second there my calendar was wrong and I came here too early.
The one and only. Welcome to Maison de Right. And yes, we've been in the process of moving in as we were delayed, but it won't be a problem. They're just adding a few things here and there, and you should still be able to do your work. Where's the rest of your crew then, Mr. Steele?
Zach is fine, please. Mr. Steele makes me feel like I'm a mascot for a cleaning product.
Mr. Steele! Makes your steel shine but bright. I don't know.
Anyway, I'll be your one-man crew for today. Don't worry, been doing this gig for a while now.
You must be quite the veteran to handle this on your own. We've had a full crew coming into our penthouse the last time we were covered in your magazine.
Veteran? Oh, your words are too kind, Miss Wright.
Hana, if I get to call you Zach, you have my permission to call me Hana.
Alrighty then. Anyway, I'm no veteran, but I know my camera well enough to make sure this is a good shoot. You can trust me on that, Miss Wright. Hana.
proves quickly that I can, in fact, trust him. His skill with the camera and experience in this industry, at the very least. He's kind and courteous, listening and following, as I lead him around the house. A really nice fellow, and he treats our household staff well whenever we cross paths with them. I answer his questions with the best of my ability, and he's patient enough to answer mine whenever I get curious enough. For one, I ask what his bags are for. They're quite the magician's toolkit. From inside, he prepared several items to embellish the interior with. Bowls of fruit, lemons, trays with peppermills, stacks of cookbooks, cutting boards, and glass canisters filled with colorful nuts and grains are brought in the kitchen setting. For the bathroom, there are white towels, seashells, and decorative soaps. There are other things as well, too numerous to count, all in that large backpack and
First of the
suitcase.
tray. Softens up a room, makes a place feel more homey, and fills it up with texture. But you guys probably have better stuff I can use for this.
No lights. Don't tell me all of these are just props.
Well, I've got my tripod here. For things like these, natural light is best. I'll just have to set the shutter speed to a real slow setting, and as long as nobody steps into the shot, it'll look great.
Oh, it better.
We go through the rooms, one at a time, although we first tackle the ones that movers have no business in anymore. The ballroom needs a little preparation, but it's grand design, although there is some trouble at first, with wide open space and pictures being backlit. It's the kitchen that Zachary's props come in handy, considering how Johannes kept the place so neat and sterile, one can practically eat off the floor. We carry on touring the house and taking pictures where we can, with the exception of the rooms we have yet to gain any purpose or design. Too bad I can't take the sneak peek at his photos yet. Fine enough, he's using a traditional camera. I didn't even know the film still existed. The way he speaks, however, I can see that he knows enough about his craft that I'm not too worried about much photographs. I imagine photography must be cathartic for him, judging how easy he looks while taking pictures. The small snippets of conversations in between the clicking of the camera. Even goes as far as talk about the stimulus and shutter speed and aperture when I talk about technical aspects. I can't quite see the picture as it is made, much like when I watch artists paint their canvas. But just the way of watching someone passionately practicing their craft, such as this, is exciting in its own way. Going through many rooms has been quite the exercise for the both of us. Despite that, he has been so nice and I find myself putting on the best smile. But it is as if we're taking pictures of the floor that everything comes to a standstill for a moment. Just a moment. And had I not been paying attention, I wouldn't have even noticed. It is a split second when Zachary's rhythm is put to a halt. His finger doesn't move to release the shutter. And yet, he also doesn't pull the camera away from his face, gaze still firmly fixed through the viewfinder. His hands shake and there's a light sheen of sweat on his forehead.
Zachary?
No response.
Zach? Is something the matter?
Lowering his camera, he blinks and stares at something behind me before he's shaking his head. Turning around though, I see nothing that have gotten his attention.
Oh, no, there's nothing wrong. I just remembered something that's all. Let's get back to the pictures. Can you move a bit more to the left, yeah?
I struggle to respond this time. There's a sudden weight on my back and an indescribable tightness around my throat. Everything stops, and everything starts again, as I manage to choke out.
You're sure?
I don't know what just happened. It was probably just a dizzy spell. I'm fine. And he said he's fine. We continue the same pace as before, although there's an unspoken agreement that we will not talk about what happened.
So, is this a full-time job for you then?
Nah, I just freelance mostly for magazines, newspapers, and events. So you can't really call it a full-time job. It's fun and it puts food on the table, but it's not what I really want to do. At least, not all the time.
What is it that you want to do then?
Maybe I've been out of line sticking nose into other people's business, but I can't help but ask. I regret doing so, as I see his shoulders slump, and the easygoing air as he has fades away. He looks torn over whether he wants to talk about it or not.
Films, documentaries mostly. But cinematography is a lot more difficult than photography, right? I was working on this thing, actually.
What thing?
Well, it wasn't really a big thing. People didn't like Blue Fonzie very much.
People don't like a film about colors. I suppose they would have liked Blue Bibby a lot more.
Very funny.
So, Grand Director, do you want to tell me what Blue Fonzie is all about?
He hesitates. When I refuse to budge on the matter, he gives in and spills it all out. Bunch of French noise. Dark blue, the darkest hours of the Black British. He speaks with the passion of one who has gone through the very matter he is concerned with. There's conviction, knowledge, and experience in his speech. Why, I would have told him that he's an amazing speaker, if only I wasn't so engrossed, listening. Prejudice and discrimination in schools and in the workplace. Lesser chances for opportunity and higher chance of being treated like a criminal. He spoke of blacks, the people of color in general, still being treated like a second-class citizen. All because of the color of their skin. It is just positively riveting and sad. It comes to the point wherein he soon loses steam. He looks abashed, realizing what he has just done.
Sorry, I just got so carried away and...
It's fine. It is really so fascinating to watch people talk about their passion after all. You should see how your eyes light up when you speak so fiercely. You do have very beautiful eyes.
Uh-huh. Thanks, I guess.
I want to say that I understand where it's coming from, but I really don't, do I? I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth, and I've lived a charmed life. It hasn't been perfect, but the difficulties I've been through pales in comparison with what the others experience on a daily basis. I certainly don't know how I would have fared were it any different. But I still met Luke. Would he still have loved me if it was any lesser?
What's your home like? These things you talk about. It sounds like you... Well, I don't mean to pry, I mean.
Live with my older sister and my grandparents. We had a shop selling all sorts of things below our flat. And well, I was one of the few non-white, non-British students in class. I didn't get pushed around or anything straight up. Even then, I was one of the biggest kids around, but a pencil and notebook would go missing, you know?
Oh, that I knew. Children can be so cruel at times. Of course, it may be a slightly different story when you have a personal card. Stolen items, not a pencil, but expensive heirloom.
So what about you? How you liking your new house? It's pretty impressive.
It's nice, I suppose.
You suppose?
Huh?
Not big enough?
What? No, oh, don't be a bully. It's just that...
I understand if you don't want to talk about it.
I was a little girl, all dolled up and treated like a fragile porcelain, with nursemaids waiting to me hand and foot. All the material possessions anyone could ever want, I could ask on a whim, and would be handed to me just like that. But I barely saw my parents. Just goodbye kisses in the morning before they went off, who knows where, when they needed to next. I saw them more often on the telly or in papers than I ever did in person.
I remember my old house. It was a lot like this one. Big walls and big halls, but nobody in it. Not really. It makes you think how alone you are.
A pensive mood overcomes us, and there's a moment when neither of us are sure how to go on from there. Things have gotten a bit too personal. yet isn't wholly uncomfortable. Like as if we've been friends before.
Well, that's normal, ain't it? You just moved here. You'll make home out of it yet.
It certainly makes it easy to believe that. My childhood house is indeed a lot like this one. This is large and extravagant. And just as empty. I hope he's right.
So, Monsieur le Photographe, you've covered the one and only Ermengarde mansion. What's next on the agenda?
The interview?
Boring. It's an interior design and housing magazine.
And they want to know what Miss Wright has to say about her interior design and house.
Honor Wright thinks she bought a magnificent house that she can certainly brag about. Blah, blah. Boring. You know what they should print more of? I watched an interesting documentary the other day. Bleu Foncé, The Darkest Hours of the Black British. I recommend you watch it.
Aw, that's nice of you.
Those are the things that people should know about. What do they care if I use a purple or green bowl of fruit in my kitchen?
People, right?
Oui. People are shite.
Oh, I gotta copy that. You know, I never thought I'd say this. But Hera isn't that bad.
What do you think? Do I look good with this angle?
It's like possible he's being busy, taken aback for a moment, probably not expects me to just go and say such a crass word. But he quickly recovers, and after snapping a few shots, he grins.
Yeah, vous êtes belle. You want copies of these ones?
Yes, please. So, the big boy knows French. You must have wooed a few ladies. Unless you're into gents. Either way, French is, after all, the language of romance.
Thanks for notifying me, Souls. Also, unpopular opinion probably, but I really disagree on the French is language of romance. It doesn't sound like that at all. It sounds like the language of snobs. I don't know. Maybe I gotten just too used to hearing stereotypical French people speak. But it all just sounds so snobby. I'm fairly certain that Luke over there is French. He kinda has a hint of that. Glad you agree with me, Souls. And I'm kinda glad that, Randy isn't here. She would probably kill me over that.
Oh, I don't know about quoting fancy poetry. But I've made lunch for a girl before, and they did like that fancy French cuisine.
Can you cook your best?
No, it's a food. What did you say? Bouillabaisse?
I could cook just about anything as long as I know the recipe.
C'est magnifique.
It's been too long since I've had a nice and proper chat with a good friend. No, Lee is certainly not a good friend. And although we've just met, Zachary is the sort of who can befriend anyone. He's just a comfortable person to be around with. A bit too comfortable. The photoshoot went by a breeze. Huh. If I had to pick French, I would rather hear Canadian French. Souls, I didn't know they had much of a difference. I mean, logically it does make sense. Completely different continents, different dialects. But I didn't think it would be that... Yeah. You know, Sweden has the same thing. A lot of Sweden, the way the Swedes talk, it sounds, very very posh-like. But this is because of the dialect of the area. If the further north you go, it becomes less posh and more like normal language. And if you even dare to jump onto the Finnish side, it becomes coarse, which sounds very odd when spoken in Swedish. So it's probably like that. Though, again, we're talking about the difference of a continent between an area in a country. Somewhere along the way, as we talk and laugh, I find myself getting a bit too close without realizing it. He'll give me this strange look until I back off, and he'll go back asking questions after I agree to do his little interview. And it's just odd. Well, no. Me being friendly isn't that odd, that is how I am. Zachary's the one that's being odd. Why, anyone would absolutely welcome the extra attention I give them. He, on the other hand, looks almost flustered about it. He should have used the different personalities by now, having to deal people with various people when he works. And if not, he needs to start. Perhaps nobody has shown him potential of this kind, but he's a big boy. He should be able to handle me. After all, sorry, I just made up words out of thin air. All it is, a friendly touch here, a pretty small deer, a gentle swaying of the hips as I move around. Zachary grew more red every time he noticed. Am I being mean that I find enjoyment in seeing him unravel? Perhaps. This went on during the interview and beyond that. There's nothing wrong with what we're doing, right? Zachary and I are just being having a playful, friendly chat while I enjoy the outside view. At least that's how I see it.
I'm sorry, but I'm really getting distracted. Could you maybe stop doing that?
Stop? I'm not sure if I want to. He asked nicely, though.
I'll stop if it makes you uncomfortable, sweetie.
Friendship up with Zachary.
Sorry.
No, I should be the one apologizing. Why, you're a shy one, aren't you, big guy?
It's not that, but...
Like Southern French SME from a deep voice. Interesting. Honestly, I can't say same about the French, as I'm sure there are many accents, but the ones that I've heard, including and of the most Nordic languages, they're just not me. I don't like them. However, I do must admit that certain languages that normally would, how would you describe it? Sting your ear? Sound very wrong? Some of those I do find quite enjoyable. For example, German. German sounds nice to me. Both of the, Celtic languages. I find them quite nice, despite especially Scottish being very coarse to your, ear. Even, Russian and other, Cyrillic languages, I also find those alright. They just mentioned it seems that we have a similar opinion on accents and regional voices. Which is kind of funny. people tend not to like those. I guess we're just keeping up the unpopular opinion about all these languages. He gestures to the ring on my finger and lets the fact that the matter hang heavily between us. Being told implicitly that I am too forward is not a common occurrence. I think I'm more stunned at the fact that he pointed it out rather than well being rejected. Not that anything is going to happen between us in the first place. It was just going to be some harmless flirting, right?
So, you've never had a girlfriend?
No. No boyfriend either. You know, just in case you were gonna ask for that one next.
And you haven't even had your first kiss?
Not a one, ma'am.
Do you want to have your first kiss today?
Ooh. I can't help it. I really can't, and I'm going to apologize lots later. Truly, with a catty smile on my face, it is obvious that I'm just pulling his leg. The laugh I failed to contain certainly gives it away if it isn't obvious. But still, he lights up in embarrassment, stammering and sputtering objections.
You're married, and this will be extremely unprofessional.
I never said I would kiss you, silly.
Of course not. She would make Luke do it. Or Johannes, of all the people.
Oh, Johannes!
I told you!
No! What?
Pucker up, Jackery!
Don't call your butler she's Hana!
That would be for the better. I don't think his husband would appreciate it if I made him kiss another man.
Oh. Oh, he has a husband. That would make it even better. Maybe they could both kiss him.
I do not think you can hear us from here either.
Oh, that was wonderful.
But it is hard to think you're not taken, Zachary. Why, whoever becomes your girlfriend will be so lucky to have you. You can cook and take wonderful photographs. Wonderful meals and wonderful memories.
I can play guitar too.
You can? Oh my. Wonderful serenades as well then. Perhaps I can find a young lady who deserves a fine, strapping young gentleman like yourself.
Let's not get carried away. Besides, I gotta be going. It's getting late and I got someplace else to be.
A shame. I will be expecting you again soon, I hope. For a copy of my photographs, yes?
Of course. I'll even deliver them personally. Just, you know, don't try to make me kiss your butler when I drop by.
No promises. As fate would have it, the very moment the words leave my mouth, Johannes comes out of the house. Judging by the slight raise of his brows, it was only the tail end of the sentence. I mean, do you think so, Souls?
There shall be no kissing of any butlers under this roof, Danke.
Huh. So he really is, German? I was curious about that. Well, you heard Johannes. No kissing butlers.
But you are not under a roof, are you, Hansi?
Oh no, quickly, run back inside, Johannes, before Zack gets excited. To my amusement, he takes a step back, placing himself within the threshold of the foyer and under the roof of the house. And just as ever, he is quick to return with a sardonic reply.
I am now. As I was saying, madam, it's about time for supper. Will I be needing to set an extra place at the table?
Oh, what? No, I was just leaving, actually. So, you have a good night, Hana. And you too, Hansi.
It was nice to meet you, Zach, honey. You have a safe trip.
He nods, and the grin on his face as we say our goodbyes is the sweetest that I have ever seen. Solus is really eager to have the butler and Zack kiss. And I don't blame you. I linger, looking out to him with his relatively tiny bicycle, backed safely secured in the basket in front and suitcase hooked to the back. I watched as we went down and bathed back on the Anselm village until he's nothing more than a blip in the horizon. I cannot help but a small smile on my face as I go inside for supper. Yeah, I do understand. Also, any news on Kat? I met Zachary Steele, a freelance photographer from Luxury Living, an interior design magazine. Zachary was tasked to interview Hannah and take pictures of the mansion and its new owner. What should have been a professional meeting ended up being friendly and perhaps too personal. Stream is up, alright. In that case, I think this is a good place to stop then. So, we had our first death, though out of our control, and we had quite a lovely experience here. And we also learned that the story is non-linear and from eyes of several members. This is important. This may affect things oddly. So, let me just find... Yes, Cat? And start raid. So, thank you for joining. And I do hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. So, I'll see you all next time. As more funny things happen, and more death happens. I do wonder, did any outsiders saw the letter as well? Or was it just Rose? I knew that it forced Rose to see it specifically for that event, but I don't remember anyone else outside seeing it. Which is a shame. Sir John should have gone down, and I'm talking about the boss. Because the way he shouts is really annoying. Anyway, I'll see you on Cat's side before the timer runs out. Bye now.